coverage you can count on.
And we begin right now at 4 o'clock with a live look at the Potomac River. In the last hour, the NTSB gave their first news conference updating the public on where their investigation stands.
It comes now 19 hours after an American Airlines flight and a Black Hawk helicopter collided midair. All 67 people on board the aircrafts are presumed dead.
Here's what we've learned since the last time we were on the air at noon. At least 28 bodies, including all 3 soldiers who were on the helicopter, have now been pulled from the water. 4 crew members on board were based in Charlotte. And NBC News is reporting the air traffic control tower was not staffed as normal. The NTSB has yet to recover the flight data recorders from the water. A lot to get to. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. So many unanswered questions still at this hour, including how something like this could happen. We have team coverage breaking it all down for you tonight. We want to start with WRAL's Brian Schrader in the live center. So, Brian, first responders are at this point still searching the Potomac in what's considered to be a recovery mission at this point.
Indeed, we're watching those live pictures here in the WRAL Live Center. We'll be monitoring that through the afternoon and evening. And you mentioned that new reporting from NBC about the staffing at the tower last night at Reagan National Airport. It was not normal, according to a preliminary FAA report, for that amount of air traffic and for that time of day. Usually they have one person who is specifically focused on helicopter traffic, monitoring that traffic. But last night, one person was monitoring helicopter traffic and fixed-wing aircraft traffic. So one person doing both of those jobs. That is allowed under FAA guidelines, but likely that is going to be just one of many angles that investigators will be looking into in the coming weeks and months ahead. We did get that update from the NTSB in a press conference that you saw here on WRAL. And the chairwoman, Jennifer Homendy, says they have a lot of information. They just can't get into specifics just yet.
NTSB, it's not that we don't have information. We do have information. We have data. We have substantial amounts of information. We need to verify information. We need to take our time to make sure it is accurate.
The NTSB will file a preliminary report in the next 30 days. They also said that there are indications the plane had a very, what they described as quick, rapid impact, reinforced by the fact that no evacuation slides deployed there. And also they are briefing the victims' families this afternoon. Also, new information that we are following about connections to North Carolina. We have learned that the crew on board that American Airlines flight was based in Charlotte. One family member posted this on Facebook confirming that Ian Epstein was a flight attendant based out of Charlotte. And also this evening, or earlier this afternoon, we're hearing from Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, who says this terrible loss will be felt deeper here in Charlotte. And I ask the community to wrap our arms around our neighbors.
That's heartbreaking. So, Brian, thank you. Meantime, Reagan National Airport opened back up around 11 o'clock this morning, and we are starting to see a few of the first North Carolinians arriving here at RDU.
WRAL's Sean Gallagher talked to some travelers who just got back after the delays and cancellations of their flights due to this tragedy. Sean, what are they saying?
Yeah, Lena and Dan, they say it was unnerving flying out of D.C. today, knowing what happened less than 24 hours ago. Even some of them that didn't have delays, they had regularly scheduled flights, tell me that there was a somber mood on the flight as they took off, just knowing exactly what happened there. But I want you to take a look right here behind me at the arrivals board. At this moment, there is still just one flight that is listed as canceled out of Washington National. So kind of feels like it's back to normal as far as flights go, but far from normal for the folks we talk to. Any delays or cancellations that they had to deal with, that's not on their tops of their minds. Their thoughts immediately going to the families impacted by this tragedy.
As we were pulling out, you can see on the right side where the river was, all the rescue vehicles and everything like that heading out to that. So, so they pulled us back to the airport, shut everything down last night.
It just hits close to home when something like that happens. You think about, I've got 2 young kids, you just think about the families, what's happening for people, and it's just so sad, such a tragedy.
Now, both of those folks tell me that they had to actually rearrange their flight schedule because they were supposed to fly out of Reagan, but they switched to flying out of Dulles, which is about 30 miles away from where Reagan National is. But the first people flying back into RDU from Reagan National just came through within the last half hour or so. They tell me that actually the pilot actually said something to them just to reiterate that, you know, this is a rare occurrence of something to happen, that they should feel safe flying. And they said that really made an impact for them.
I can't imagine what it must have felt like, too. Of course, feeling for the people who lost their lives, but then getting on a plane and trusting being on an aircraft. Sean, were these people also telling you that they passed by this massive investigation still unfolding here near the Potomac River?
Yeah, one of those folks that I talked to that you just heard from actually flew out of Dulles, and he said that he was actually on a flight from Reagan ready to take off when they could actually see a lot of the emergency response happening in the Potomac River there, and they had to retaxi, come back, and get off their flight there. So all of this is very close to where that airport is. A lot of people definitely saw what happened.
Jeez, yeah.